Namaste. This is a blissful flow practice, and what I want to mention today is a psychiatric term called splitting. We're going to be doing the splits today, but not the normal splits, not the Hanumanasana, not the cheerleader splits. We're going to be doing the splits standing and from downward facing dog. I highly suggest that you have a wall space available, because after we do in two blocks, after we use the blocks and the mat and do more of a freestyle practice, we will then take the mat to the wall, and then we'll use the wall as a prop, and we'll end with legs up the wall. So if you need to pause the video and get that set up, you can. Now, to come back to this topic of splitting, I want to explain what this is. This is basically a way that people tend to build up a defense mechanism when they tend to get, a violent outburst or passive aggressive or go into a state of denial. It's basically seeing things, places, or people as stark black or white, and not recognizing that there's positive and negatives to both, in the fact that there could be two sides of the coin or two different perspectives. Basically, it's not being able to hold space or to discover there may be a middle ground. In that middle ground, there may lie a solution. And so when we get locked in ideas, thoughts, opinions, beliefs, when we get caught up with certain types of personalities, we may determine they're this or that and may make it so definitive that we can't see past that. And in Buddhist philosophy, they have something called the middle way. So I just wanted to bring that up because I feel like the middle way is similar to finding the middle ground. It's really important that we try to step into someone else's shoes, that we start to recognize that they have a different lifestyle or different life experiences or different stressors that create and shape them the way that they are. I'm going to bring in a couple examples here with this idea of splitting. So think about if a child is coming from a divorced family, if they're constantly being told by one parent that it's the other parent's fault, then that child may start to believe and take it out on this other parent, thinking that that statement is true. But we all know from being in relationships, and especially if we're divorced, once you have enough space, once you have enough time, once you have enough clarity after the emotions have dissolved, and sometimes that takes years in the making, we start to pull back the lens, we start to pull back the layers, we start to look at our own reflection to see what part we played. And we can definitely see that we failed just like they may have failed in one aspect or another. And therefore, that created the dissolve of the marriage. I was really happy the other day when I was having a similar discussion with my son. And he said, I don't blame you or dad for it because it takes two people. And that's coming from a 14-year-old child. For him to have the wisdom to be able to state that and say that, despite what he's gone through since this divorce happened when he was 2, makes me really, really proud of him. But there's a friend of mine whose mom just got divorced. And so she's had this stepdad in her life for 25 years. She claimed him as the stepfather. She developed this rapport with him, a relationship with him, and her 2 children grew up knowing this person as being the grandfather. Unfortunately, that marriage dissolved. And she has kept her relationship steady with her stepfather, even though technically he's no longer married into the family. And some other family members look at her as being disloyal and don't understand why she is maintaining this bond with him. And so, her take on it is their relationship is separate than my relationship, and that relationship is separate than the relationship that my children have with this man. Why would I tear all that apart? And that is to be commended, that is to be respected. And that is really, I think, the epitome of yoga, because yoga is meant to expand our minds and our hearts. When we expand our minds and our hearts, then we can see a broader perspective of things. We'll be able to see another person's viewpoint, even though we may still stick with our viewpoint. At least listening to that and understanding that, whether or not you align with it, is staying open. And that's so important. So that is our lesson for today. I don't know if you've ever heard of that psychiatric statement called splitting. I had originally started to look up how we sometimes feel split in two and can't make a decision one way or the other. And then I discovered this term. So that's what we're rolling with today, since we're doing the splits. I will meet you on the mat. You're gonna want 2 blocks. So when you get set up on your mat, I want you to have the 2 blocks. I know I normally say put them at the front, but it's gonna make sense once we get there. You're gonna have the blocks kind of set a little further back, and we're gonna fold over in child's pose. As you fold down to child's pose, you can take any variation of your liking. Thighs together or wide apart. Arms around you or set before you. Once you settle in, close the eyes. And recognize how we're pouring down to the brow, a stimulus point for the third eye. The third eye that helps us to gain a broader perspective of things. It will help us to see from a new vantage point, or see things in a new light. Begin your breath work. Perhaps breathing in a diaphragmatic way. Getting centered and more focused for the practice. And maybe being contemplative in the moment on what areas in life where you may be experiencing what's called splitting, seeing things as black or white, good or evil, right or wrong, without having all the information. Set your intention to use this practice as a way to develop a more open-minded heart. And then on your next inhalation, stretch the arms out in front of you and rock up to hands and knees. Separate your feet if the toes were touching. And we're going to take the right leg up and back. When I say up and back, you are lifting the foot a little higher than the hips so that you get the sway or dip in your low back, and you're lifting your chin, opening the throat. Now, as you exhale, you contract the belly and you draw the forehead towards the knee. And then continue. Inhale and exhale. Continue your flow. Remember, let the breath conduct the flow. I saw a funny meme this morning and it said, your band is only as good as the drummer. And then at the bottom it said, your yoga practice is only as good as your breath. The breath being the timekeeper, what creates the rhythm. Now inhale, extend your right leg back, but this time keep it level to your hip. Flex through the ankle, power back through the sole of the foot, draw the belly in, fill in the gap between the shoulders, and slowly extend your left arm. Balance and breathe. Lower to tabletop. Flip your left palm, thread and loop it underneath the right arm, moving into thread the needle pose, pressing away from the right hand, shifting your weight onto the left shin, and lifting the right leg up and back. Exhale, lower the right knee. Unthread the left arm, step the right foot forward. When you lunge the knee, make sure it doesn't crank way past the ankle. If it does, scoot or slide the foot more forward. There should feel like a split occurring between the front and the back knee. You can land on your hands or a fist, and you're melting the hips down towards the earth. We're trying to release that iliopsoas muscle that gets entangled and embedded with so much emotion. It's usually our emotion that tends to look at things as black or white, good or evil, right or wrong. Positive or negative. Now let's stack the hands to the knee. Keep your hips sagging as you bring your head and heart up. And then elevate your arms. Make this pose more active by cementing the right foot down, drawing up through the pelvic floor, in and up through the navel, floating ribs, side body. Maybe taking a little heart opening. Exhale, palms together and release. All right, curl the back toes under. Step it back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, fly your heels up and re-land to your knees and untuck the toes. We'll take that sequence to the other side. Lift and extend your left leg. Notice when you lift the leg higher, it contracts the glutes. Exhale, contract your core and curl in, rounding your back. Do that in sync with your breath. Now take your left leg back, flex that ankle, make sure it's not too high, hips stay level. Solidify your right shin in order to shine your right hand out. Focus your eyes, to help focus your mind. Exhale, land to table. Flip your right palm. Loop it underneath for thread the needle. Rolling away from the left hand. Using the right foot for stability as you lift and extend your left leg. Up and back. Spread the toes. Luckily, you're close to the floor, practically on the floor. So if you roll out, you won't get hurt. Just have a laugh and you can get back in. Exhale, lower the knee and thread the arm. This time we'll step the left foot through for the half lunge. We're being a little bit more yin-like, getting heavier, connecting to that gravitational pull of the planet. Remember that gravitational pull reminds us the importance of dropping down and in order to really grow. Hands stacked to the knee, slowly erect the spine. Elevate the arms, press through the left foot. Draw up to Anjali-asana, maybe take a heart opening position. Hands down, curl the back toes, re-step to downward facing dog. As you pause in your second downward facing dog, root down through the hands and the feet. Let your head go, but keep the eyes open today. Learn how to look and to see things differently. And not just through our own personal lens. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Close into self. Uttanasana. Drill the feet down to lift your kneecaps up. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sides and up overhead. Maybe come to upward worship. Exhale, fold straight through the middle. Inhale, walk it out to plank. Once in plank, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Close the belly towards the thighs, the heart towards the knees, the forehead towards the shins. Inhale all the way up. Upward worship. Exhale, come straight down the midline, returning to your forward fold. Inhale, we're walking down the mat to plank. This time we're going to change it up. We're going to shift forward, lower to chaturanga, build strength to pump up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Inhale, draw it all the way to the top. Exhale, bring hands back down to the heart. We're going to continue a couple more sets like that. Inhale, upward worship. Exhale, drop in. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Extra breath here. Walk the hands in towards the toes. Solidify the feet. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, come right back down. Inhale, walk it to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, build strength, pump up, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk the hands in. Land your heels. Inhale up to the top. Exhale, close the set, hands to heart. All right, one more set like that. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Low push-up. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, rock and roll back. Walk the hands in. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, press up, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, hands walk back. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, I'm gonna move up just a little bit. And you're gonna have the blocks set in front of you, so it looks like this. And then we're gonna come back to stand. We'll get there, okay? So we're gonna start first standing on the left leg, left hand to the waist, picking up the right knee, catching it with the hand, Padangusthasana. Both hands to waist, extend the right leg, Padangusthasana D. Exhale, bend the knee, lift it higher. Inhale, stretch it out. Exhale, bend and lift. Inhale, Padangusthasana D. Hold for an extra breath. Skate the foot through. Hinge forward from your hips. Let your hands help to adjust the hips so they're level. Bring the hands to the blocks once they're level, and you may have to move them slightly to your left. Draw the heart forward. Feel the strengthening you're gaining through the standing leg. One last breath. Now take the blocks to a lower height. Bending the elbows so that you can sail the right leg skyward. Or you can walk your hands back towards the standing leg. And you may not even need the blocks. So in standing split, the toes are pointed, the legs are scissoring, and the right hip is hiking higher than the left. So you're going to feel more of a stretch through the leg. Now bend the knee. Bring that footprint down. Stand the blocks back up where they were. And safely come back up. Second side, right hand to the waist. Catch your left knee, Padangusthasana A. Left hand to hip. Padagustasana D. Exhale, bend and lift the knee. Inhale, extend the whole leg. One more, bend and lift. Straighten it out, try not to tuck the tailbone. Flex the foot to skate it back. Hands to the hips to level them out. Bring the hands to the blocks, and you may have to slightly bring them over to the right to line it up correctly. So now we hold. Feel the work in the standing leg. It's a lot. Take the blocks lower, or walk your hands back. As you fold over the right leg, you're scissoring the left leg up and away. Splitting, seeing things as black or white, and no in between. Not being able to compromise, to find a solution or to find somewhere to meet in the middle. Does that show up in any area of your life? Just in the left foot. Move the blocks to the sides. Fold in half, Uttanasana. Affirming nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Even the psychiatric term of splitting. Walk the hands out. Take your plank. All right, so our new flow, we're gonna fly the right foot up. And as we exhale, we're gonna take it up and back to Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. But I can tell already my right hip is higher. So if you're unsure, roll the right hip down. And if you start to feel the full circumference of the left leg engaged, you know you're in the right position. The right toes are turned down, the heel is up. Now inhale, flying plank. Shoulders restack over wrist. Exhale, one-legged down dog. Again, inhale, flying plank. Exhale, press it back. Lower the right foot, shift through again to plank. Elevate your left foot. And then press back to Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pause here. That left leg may be splitting higher. Roll the left hip down. The shoulders should be level and even, just like the hips. Inhale, flying plank. Exhale, version of down dog. Again. Move back and forth between the two poses as you breathe. And then descend your left foot down. From downward facing dog, start traveling the hands back. Reset the box. Folding in half. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, we're going to take it through another sequence. Left hand to the waist, stacking and standing on the left leg. This time we're picking up the right foot, flaring the knee to the side to hook the first two fingers, the peace mudra, around the big toe. Then draw the right knee to face the ceiling, push out through your heel, and it's okay if your leg does not go completely straight, but you might be able to. From Padagustasana A, release the hand, hold D, skate it through, hinge it forward, Blocks are there if you need it. I gotta scoot forward a little bit. And then we come back to standing split. Bringing the right foot down, you can bend the knees. Safely draw it up. Second side, right hand waist, left knee lifts. Tag the toe. Lift the knee. Press the foot out, even if your leg is not perfectly straight. It's still the pose. We don't want to force the body. We only force the breath. Padangusthasana D, no hands. Skate it through. Balance here. Or skill the hands to blocks or the ground to move towards standing split. Eventually lowering the left foot. Bend the knees, drape over your thighs, bow your head. Take a moment, affirming. I relax from all outer involvements into my own inner haven of peace. Press through the feet, draw the navel in, and roll it up. All right, this is where we're gonna transition to the wall. So hopefully you have some wall space. Set up the small end of the mat to the wall. Now we are going to use the blocks eventually. Have those close by. But we're not going to use them at first. All right. You may want to watch me initially, but I'll talk you through it because you may have done it with me before. All right, so we're going to basically be doing that one-legged downward facing dog with the foot to the wall, toes tucked, level and even the hips, and then we'll untuck the foot as we walk the hands back towards the wall. The leg will slide up the surface of the wall, giving us more of a split. Now, to give you a perspective, I'm 5'4", and usually what works for me is if my toes touch the baseboard and my hands are slightly ahead of the shoulders, I can usually do this pose from here. But if you're tighter or if you have more height, longer limbs, you may have to crawl more forward because we want to keep the integrity through the upper body as we would in downward facing dog. So I'll go ahead and show you. From Adho Mukha Svanasana, we're going to start with the right foot. Take the toes up, and then make sure your shoulders aren't coming forward. You're pushing into the palms, driving the shoulders back. Go ahead and join me if you haven't already. Measure yourself. Try downward facing dog. See if you can lift that right foot up. See if you can maintain the integrity through the upper body. Untuck the toes. Let your hands walk back. And your right foot slide up. We're not looking for perfection here. Like I can tell the piriformis in my glutes are stopping me, so I'm pausing. Now to come out, walk the hands forward, bring the knees down, and we're going to take child's pose. It's a lot of weight on the hands. Second side. Rock up hands and knees. Curl the toes, take downward facing dog. This time the left foot lifts. Absolutely. Take as much time as you need to adjust the body accordingly. Your hands may need to crawl forward. Your hips may need to get level. And then untuck the top foot, walk the hands back, let the foot slide up the wall. Most importantly, breathe. When you're ready, safely come out. Take child's pose again. Wiggle the fingers. Inhale, come up. All right, we're not done with the wall. We're going to use the wall for our foot. The blocks are going to be under the hands. We're going to do two poses. One like we've already done without the use of the wall. And then we'll add in the twist. So this is another one we have to kind of measure for. You'll have to walk down your mat and lift a foot up. Now look, if my foot is higher, you see the tilt of my hips, I'll drop my head so you can see. You also see with the tilt of the hips, my toes are turned out. And really all I'm feeling is a stretch through the inner thigh. We don't want to feel that stretch. We're going for strength. So we have to pivot that foot to face down. And hopefully you can see my sacrum's more level. Now I feel the whole thigh fire up. And you're going to lengthen out through the spine. Now to really challenge yourself, you can splay your arms, balance and breathe. The right foot's just resting on the surface. The left foot's what's really working here. Lower the hands. All right, once you lower the hands, we're going to take your revolving twist. So since the left foot is on the floor, we're going to twist into revolving half moon. Left arm lifts as we twist to the left side. Exhale, lower the right hand, the left hand, excuse me, and the right foot. That's a lot. Whew. All right, left foot picks up, goes against the wall. Level the hips. Take your time. Lengthen out through the spine. Maybe create your wings. Concentrate your efforts. And if that's too hard, just keep your hands to your blocks because this is a lot already. No worries. All right, with your right foot down, we're going into the revolving half moon. So the right arm will lift. A lot for the iliotibial band. This is our final twist. Exhale, lower both the hands and the foot, and come on down. So good news, you guys. You get to do legs at the wall. It's just about everyone's favorite pose. I'm going to move my yogini here to create some space. Now to line up for legs at the wall, and it is a full moon this week. And this pose is a great antidote for insomnia. It's also a great calming agent if you're having trouble trying to go to sleep. So we're going to come down one side of the body at the edge of the mat. And then we'll roll to the mat and send the legs up the wall. Now, you may be flush or slightly away from the wall. Test the waters. Rest your heels. Straighten out your spine. Close your eyes. This pose is helping to reduce pain in varicose veins. It helps to aid our circulation. It helps to lodge the femur bones to the hip sockets and stabilize the pelvis. It can reduce swelling if you have any in the lower body. It can also be a natural sedative for the mind. Use this pose to your benefit. Affirming mentally within, new life, new consciousness is flooding down and through my being. New life, new consciousness floods down and through my being. I understand if you need to hold this pose longer. You're also welcome to slide the legs wide into a split that way, or to bend the knees and flatten the feet to the wall for a hip stretch. And casually turning over to one side. Building your way up to take a seat. Sit with back support against the wall. Praying, joining your hands together to prayer. May we all reap the rewards of this practice. May we stay quiet and contemplative on this psychiatric term of splitting. Make sure that we're not becoming fixated on any certain ideas, beliefs, or opinions, that we can hold space and recognize that we need to broaden our lens in order to see the full picture of things, knowing not everything is black or white. And we hold space for solutions, finding common ground, or coming back to the middle way. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.